welcome and thank you so much for joining me, Alyssa Arundell, for your 2021 tarot card reading. I cannot believe we're in 2021. For this year, what we're going to do is pull 12 cards, and these 12 cards are going to symbolize each month of the year for your specific zodiac sign. In the middle of this spread is going to be what's called a significator card. So this is a card that is a running theme throughout your year, and then as each month comes up, we're going to compare this card to the card that you pulled for that specific month. So I hope that that makes sense. I will also be leaving timestamps beneath this video so that you can refer back to each month as you go throughout your year. So all you need to do is save this video in your favorites or something, and then you can refer back to that. Before we dive into this year's reading, I'd also just like to thank you for joining us for our daily show. Thank you for joining me for these monthly videos. It really does mean a lot to me. If you would like to check out your free 3-card tarot spread, you can do that by clicking on the link beneath this video. It's completely free. And if you would like to reach out to myself for a live one-to-one consultation, I'd be more than happy to work with you and to serve you in whatever way I can. But without further ado, let's get into this year's reading. Hello Taurus, and thank you so much for joining me for your 2021 tarot card reading. Let's see what your significator card is for this year ahead. Wow, well, we have the 7 of Wands. This is about you standing in your power, Taurus, this year. This as a significator card is something that might come up for you time and time again this year, where you're putting your foot down and asserting yourself. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, that's such a bad start. But actually, this is really a year of you coming into your power, no longer being a pushover, no longer being taken for granted, your ideas being just appreciated for what they are. So Taurus, this is so important for you this year to remain very true to your own moral compass and to not be swayed into ways of doing things that don't feel right or don't feel comfortable for you. So January is going to kickstart this year off, and it's actually a beautiful card that comes up here. You've got the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is about moving forwards, but this is in a real positive way. So I feel like even though there are things going on globally that are tragic and difficult, and we're being tested as a species right now in many ways, but I feel for you Taurians, it's like, no, you're moving forward into this new year with a heightened sense of optimism, feeling grounded, feeling emotionally connected to your truth. January is going to be a really positive month in terms of moving on. So if there is anything that you're leaving behind, I don't think there's going to be a bitterness about it. If you'd pulled the 5 of Cups here, or if you'd pulled the 6 of Swords here, there may be, that bitterness about moving on. But the 8 of Cups is purely about a joy of moving forward. So this could be a house move. This could be moving into a new relationship. This could be broadening your horizons when it comes into your life in terms of your career. So Taurus, January is a very positive month for you indeed. Now, February, you have the Lovers. The Lovers is a card with so much depth and so many possibilities. On the face of it, we can take it at that face value where it means a romantic relationship. So this could be that someone new is coming into your life, or again, that you're moving forwards, deepening that commitment. That could come off the back of this January move. But communication is likely to be very good actually in February, because you have these 2 people communicating. They might not always see eye to eye, but they have this referee in the middle in terms of this angelic spiritual presence. So any miscommunications that have been lingering on, if you've not been in touch with, say, a family member or a friend because there's been a fallout, there can be some real reconciliation happen in February if that is something that you want. Originally in tarot, the Lovers card was called Choice. So this can be a choice of, again, your career, a choice in doing something that you love. It could be the choice between two lovers. If that is the case, a word of caution. So let's imagine these are two suitors vying for your attention. One is poetic and one is very romantic and kind, and the other one might be a bit more aloof but is very passionate, likes to get things done, maybe more financially secure. And you're like, I don't know whether to go with the philosopher or the business person. Really what you want is a mixture of these two energies. You want the full package. So it is a card about maybe the choice is not to settle. If you feel like you're having to choose between two partners, maybe some time alone is actually going to be more beneficial, because then the actual partner that encompasses everything that you want has that space and time to come into your life. So February is a deep month for communication, for doing things that you love, for choices to be made. Now, as we move into March, speedily going through this year, March is the Five of Cups. This is funny because we were talking about this just a minute ago when we said about moving forwards. The Five of Cups is about a loss of some kind. It's about not being able to see the big picture and being stuck in the past in a lot of ways. So maybe at the start of the year you felt very empowered. We must refer back to the Significator card at all times here. So the Seven of Wands, we said at the beginning, is about you standing in your power. So you've done that in January and you're feeling good about yourself. February, you're making some choices, and then in March you might be thinking to yourself, was the grass really greener on the other side? Have I made the right choice? What would have happened? Maybe you have a breakup and you feel like, well, I wasted 5-6 years with that person. Like, I could have been looking for somebody else. It's important in March that you try not to fall into that way of thinking, because even though half of this card, these 3 cups are spilt over, they're ruined. But there are 2 cups full right in front of you. There is a new opportunities coming your way. So please try your hardest in March not to fall into feeling really disheartened, feeling like you've made a big mistake, because ultimately sometimes in life it is those mistakes that lead us to the perfect path, even if we can't see it in that present moment. So March, yes, I do think you could be feeling a little bit low at times, but just keep referring back to this power card in the middle, standing up for yourself, and you won't go wrong. Then in April, let's see how you move forward from this. Well, you're moving forward with flying colours really, because you have the Wheel of Fortune. It's number 10, which is about cycles ending. And the Wheel of Fortune is, it can often mean a windfall of some kind. It can mean an abundance financially. So that would be very well received in April. It is also a time for you to have a check-in with how your year's going so far, and it's about you having that optimism again. So you start off optimistic. March, there is that lull. You might be feeling quite down, but then by April, you're really starting to see why things have happened. There is clarity in your life purpose and your life structure. And I do feel a lot of you will be getting some very good news in April, particularly involving your finances. Now in May, Taurus, the card that comes up for you here is a very interesting one indeed. We have the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is about planting the seeds for something new to come into your existence. Again, it can mean financially, it can mean anything to do with your material plane. Pentacles are your home, our clothes, anything that we can physically feel and touch. And so I feel like in May, it's like you might not have everything figured out, right, from the choices you've made at the start of the year. But there, again, is this optimism that things are growing. And yes, you might not be at the finish line, but you're doing pretty well in the race, And I think there will be a sense of calmness about that. A sense of impatience might come up because you're like, okay, I know something's good's going to happen. When's it going to happen? So May, yes, clarity, some calmness, but some impatience. So please just be gentle with yourself. I think this is a month where self-care is going to be very important. Pamper yourself this month. May is going to be this time to really just please look after yourself. Give yourself those early night sleeps. Make sure you're getting enough water. Having those fruits and vegetables. I know it sounds a little bit boring, but I just think I get a feeling, we haven't seen the cards yet, but I have a feeling that the rest of the year is going to be quite action-packed. And so May might be the last month where you can really catch your breath. That is just what I'm feeling. But let's see what the cards say for you. So June. What is happening for you in June? So June is not the easiest time. And I definitely think this is why you're going to have to look after yourself in May. This is the 9 of Swords. The 9 of Swords can bring on bouts of anxiety. At times it can bring about, at its worst, depression. But it could mean that you're suffering with insomnia, sleepless nights, nightmares. This isn't always because of a bad thing, though. You know, sometimes even good stress in our lives can be difficult. Now, what do I mean by good stress? Well, a good stress would be something like, say you were getting your house renovated. So ultimately, it's going to be a great thing because you're investing into where you live, and that's wonderful. But you may have people coming and going into your home. It might be a bit chaotic, some disarray, and that could lead to some sleepless nights. So I do think in June, coming off the back of May, where you have that impatience, there could be a bit of burnout. And so the best sort of spiritual guidance I can give for you in June, and bear in mind that this is a general reading, so for each of you it's going to be different. It could mean that you're soaking in some of the atmospheres from a larger scale. Because when we're talking about tarot, we do have to bear in mind things that are going on in the world as well, right? So it's not just some obscure, you know, in a bubble message. On the outside of this, you have the global scale, you have politics, you have where you live, you have the environment. So all of these things, if you're feeling hypersensitive anyway, can really feed into fears and really feed into just feeling annoyed, frustrated, upset even about the state of some of the things in the world. So June, please do keep turning your attention as much as possible to the beauty in the world, to the good that people are doing. Because for every disaster, for every thing that happens like that, there are people who really step up to the plate and help out. So faith in humanity should not be lost completely in June. You may feel really disappointed in people, but just know that not everybody is the same. And to find that optimism within others. So as we move into July, Taurus, we have another major arcana card, and it is Judgment. I feel like this month you're going to be sorting out the people in your life, who you want in your life and who you don't. Now, I personally don't subscribe to this idea that if someone has annoyed us, we should just cut them off, because I genuinely believe we can all be difficult sometimes. Every single one of us can be hard work, right? None of us are saints here. So I think it's important to, you know, this kind of more new age idea of, oh, if the person's toxic, cut them out. Well, is it really that they're toxic? Because if they are, by all means do that, cut them out, cut your losses and run a mile. But if it is a relationship that would heal from just some patience and care and time, then perhaps it's not worth throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So July is going to be a month where you're making these judgments, you're being discerning. I don't think it's a month where you should really listen to everybody else's opinions. I think that could really sway how you feel, think about a situation, and then ultimately act on that. So I think you've got to follow your own moral judgment, your own moral compass, meditate upon what it is you need to be making changes about, and act in a fair way. you know, if you are cutting somebody out of your life and you've made that decision and you know that they are toxic and you believe you're making the right choice, that's fair enough. Maybe we could do that in the most diplomatic or gentle way as possible. But on the other hand, maybe this person needs to be told straight, look, I'm very sorry, but I don't want to have any, continue any kind of relationship with you. So again, for each person, it's going to be different. And that is why the card Judgment comes up. And by the time July comes, you're going to know exactly what I mean or what we're talking about here. So as we fly into August now, we have yet another major arcana card. It's the Pope, also known as the Hierophant. This is a card of traditional ways of thinking. August is not going to be a month where you are able to think outside the box. It's very fixed, but that's okay. You can work with that energy. It is traditional. And it does things the way that they have been done for a while. So I think anything that comes to you involving business or the way anything is run, this month in August, just stick to the road that is travelled. I think it could save you a lot of heartache, because sometimes trying to, reinvent the wheel, or as Daenerys Targaryen would say, break the wheel, sometimes that comes at a high cost, and it isn't always the best course of action. This could also mean that you are going to get involved with a higher group or organisation. This can mean higher education, so a university, college courses, online courses, anything that's going to expand your self-development or your career opportunities is going to be great in August. You could also find yourself getting more involved in a spiritual organisation or group, maybe some volunteer work. So I definitely think it's not so much about being the leader, Taurus, in August. It's more about doing things that aren't going to cause you so much stress. Being the follower at times can actually be give us a relief. There is, again, a lot of talk about, don't be a follower. But actually, sometimes in life, it's very good for us not to know it all and not to have all the answers, because that is how we learn. So August, a month for learning as well. September is a money month. You have the Ace of Pentacles comes up here. I really think you're going to start seeing the fruits of that reward. Remember, you planted those seeds in May. Well, September, you're going to see some results from that. That might seem like a long wait, but I genuinely believe this year is going to fly by for a lot of us, many of us. So September sees your finances really improving. And I do feel like, again, any home improvements, anything to do with your material life, this could be getting a new job, all the things you've been working on since the start of the year to turn your life around in some way. I feel come September, you're really going to start seeing all of that manifest, and it will be well worth the wait. Now, as we move into October, Taurus, we have the Empress. You have another major arcana card. The Empress is about fertility. She's about feeling full, feeling fruitful. So for some of you, this could be a birth or pregnancy. So that would be, lovely. For some of you, this is more of a metaphorical birth or a metaphorical conception, either the conception of an idea or the birth of an idea. Some of you may be setting up a new business in the October time. And I think this is a really exciting phase, because you're nurturing whatever this is, whether it is a new life or this new idea. You're giving it time, you're giving it focus. It's something that you have wanted for a long time, and your dreams may have been put on the back burner again and again, but come October, it's time for you now to realize those dreams, and that is just going to be so beautiful. Now, November, Taurus. Well, we had two fly out, so I'm actually going to read both of these. We've got the Two of Pentacles and Justice for November. Now, the Two of Pentacles is about managing your finances. So deciding what funds need to go where. It's very business-like. And justice is a little bit like judgment in a way. Justice, you are making those fair and firm decisions. So you may have to decide which child needs your help more this month, or which sibling. You may be having to balance your energy and time a little bit. If you have been in any legal dispute throughout this year, it's likely to go in your favour. You may not get as much compensation as you thought, but I actually think you'll come away from it feeling, okay, that it was fair. It's not as much as I could have got, but it was fair. So November, you're tying up those loose ends, particularly if you have been through a divorce or a breakup, sorting out assets, anything like that, whether there's been an inheritance or sadly someone's passed away and you're sorting through an estate. November time, I think things are going to start getting more clarity. You may have a lawyer involved or someone who is helping you through that situation. Compare it back to that significator card though, which was telling you to stand in your power, the Seven of Wands. I feel in November, you will have to stand up for yourself to get what you deserve. But again, like I say, I do think you're going to come away from it feeling that you've been treated fairly, at least. And then as we come to the end of the year, Taurus, and we close in December, the card that comes up is the Four of Wands. This is about home, family. This is about feeling safe. It's structure. It's safety. It's the four corners of your home. It's foundations. So this whole year has been about you making some changes. There has been ups and downs. You've gone from feeling like you're moving on fine to then grieving it a little bit, especially in June. But then you're getting your power back again. You have that great news coming in September, the new ideas bubbling in October, the fairness and things being tied up in November. And then by the end of the year, you could well be a new homeowner, or you're just generally feeling like you've achieved a massive amount, that your family is safe, that you've done the right things, that you've done the best things. And that will really kickstart a brand new chapter when we go to next year. But for this year, I'm so excited for you guys, because it is about realizing your power and your dreams. And I really do hope that that is something that comes your way this year. So there you have your 2021 tarot card reading. Thank you again for joining me. It really does mean a lot, especially those of you that join me month to month. You've been with me since I started doing this on Patrick's channel, so I'm really, really honoured to share this time and space with you. If you haven't checked out our daily show, I'd really love you to come along for that ride as well, because it's so much fun and we love being with you every single day. And it's just an honour to have that, really. So I hope that this spread has given you some idea of what you could potentially expect energetically this year. I just want to wish you a peaceful new year. I really hope that you are safe wherever you are in the world, and that you your families, friends, those that matter to you are also safe. I'm sending you lots of love for this new year, and I really hope that things pan out in a way that is beneficial for all of us on the planet. So until we speak again in January,